Do you want to know the best enchantments for your Minecraft gear and the best ways to get it? I got you covered. But we're not going to start here. Let's go. So first, for those that don't know, getting fully enchanted gear is literally the most important thing you can do in your world. Fully enchanted gear helps you gather blocks faster, allowing you to complete builds quicker, and also makes it much harder for you to die, giving you a lot more confidence to explore and adventure around and not die while you're trying to do things in your world. Basically, if you play Minecraft, period, you gotta watch this guide until the very end, so I can show you all the enchantments that are worthwhile and the best, most efficient ways to add it to your gear. So there are a few different ways to get enchanted gear in your world. You can find enchanted gear in chests and dungeons and nether fortresses and the end. There's a lot of places you can find gear or enchanted books. That way kind of sucks. If you get lucky and you find some cool stuff, good. But to get max gear that way, it ain't gonna happen. There's also this way I could go in here. I could make an enchanting table, and you have to have 15 bookshelves around it in some way. You have to have all the spaces around the enchanting table completely clear. Not even carpet can go there for whatever reason. And then you got to have your bookshelves. This is the most common layout that people do it, but that's fine. You could have them stacked on top of each other. As long as they are within this range of the enchanting table, you don't cover the middle area, and you have 15 of them, you can get maximum level enchantments. And we've done this method in previous guides and have done full enchanting setups this way. So if you want to go back to season 1 or season 2 of the guide, you can check it out. Basically, you come up here to your enchanting table, you take something you want to enchant, and then you put some lapis in there, and you can get enchantments. But the problem is, you don't always get the enchantments that you want. So you might have to do something like re-roll the enchanting table. You can see if something else gives you something good, like we get a book on here or a piece of armor. But ultimately, you end up wasting a lot of time, right? Because I might not want any of these. So now I'm gonna have to enchant my sword. I'm gonna have to put down a grindstone, which can remove enchantments from items. And I have to go to it again. And I just wasted 3 levels, and I have sharpness 4 available again. So now I'm gonna have to do it again, right? And I have to go over here, have to disenchant it, and I have to put it back on and look at it again. And it seems like the enchanting table is stuck. This method is absolutely terrible. We're not gonna do this. So instead of spending hours upon hours upon hours mindlessly doing that, we spent those hours making something that we can reuse over and over and over again for a ton of different things. And that is this massive trading hall. Now, in the last 3 episodes, we made this iron farm that's above us. We made this attached trading hall, and we even made ourselves a little zombification area where we can get our villagers permanent discounts to where your books up here, almost all of them right now, they are going to be 1 emerald cost. I have not fully discounted these guys yet. I fully discounted these ones, but these guys got the area effect discounts. Again, watch the last episode if you want to see how that process is done. But now I need to get all of my gear together because we're going to do some enchanting. And first, let's start with 2 items that are not super commonly used, and that is the crossbow and the trident. There's a few enchantments that you can put on these, right? So there's quick charge, which goes up to level 3, which simply makes it so your bow drawback time is a lot quicker. We definitely want this one. So let's go ahead, let's purchase that. Kind of like we're going on a little shopping spree right now. What else do we need? Okay, looks like the other ones are going to maybe be over here. Multi-shot is one that makes your bow shoot out 3 arrows instead of 1, as opposed to piercing, which makes your arrows go through mobs to hit mobs behind them. These 2, they are exclusive from one another. You cannot have both of them. So in our case, we're gonna have to pick one, and I think I'm gonna go with multi-shot. And then there's the ones that everything can use. There's Unbreaking 3, which we have over here, and then there is Mending. Okay, now we have to put all of these on our crossbow. So let's go ahead and let's combine our books together here, because this is going to be the cheapest way to get all of our enchantments on. It used to be that you'd put your crossbow down, right? And you would kind of add them in one at a time, usually starting with the most expensive book was what everybody thought was the best way to do it. But actually you spend less levels if you combine the books together first, like this, and like this. And then I put my crossbow down, put my book down that has everything on it, and my cost overall, when you combine all the ways together, is going to be less to do it this way. Now I need a couple more levels, which is easy enough. We can just do a little bit of trading to get there. And then here we go. We now have a maximum enchanted crossbow. And as you can see, this thing is pretty awesome. Now when you shoot this thing, you see 3 arrows come out. You can't you don't get actually like 3 more arrows. It's not duplicating arrows. Only one of the arrows you pick up is going to give you more arrows, which if I go right here, see if I pick up the one on the edge there, pick up this, it doesn't give it to me. If I pick up the center one, that's the real arrow. That's the one that gives you your arrow back if you happen to have missed. Now, I'm going to do that same shopping spree for each item, and then I'm going to go over the enchantments as I add them in. Now, this one on the Trident, I'm not going to keep for now since I only have one Trident, but I wanted to show it to you, and it's called Riptide. This is great once we get the Elytra because you're standing in any type of water, and you hold down your button to throw the Trident. You actually throw yourself with the Trident, which is absolutely awesome. It's a great way to fly around without using rockets, and it's kind of fun to do too. It also works while you're in the water to give you a little boost to go quickly. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this off of here, as fun as it is. And when we get another Trident, we'll make a Riptide Trident. Now, let me show you the other enchantments that we have. And let me show you another method to, like, more efficiently in terms of how you use your levels to add enchantments on. Now, I need to get myself some iron for some more levels because we're using iron to trade to get levels. That's the beauty of using an iron farm trading hall. Let's do a little bit of trading. And then now let's come over here and let's add our books together like we did before. Let's start with Impaling 5. Impaling is an enchantment that does more damage. So kind of like Sharpness, which we'll go over a little bit for a sword. Having Impaling on your Trident makes it do more damage whenever the enemy that you're hitting is in water. So we're going to take that. We're going to combine that with Unbreaking 3. We're going to take those two, combine those with Loyalty 3. Loyalty makes your Trident come back to you when you throw it. We'll show you that in a second. And we're going to combine that with Mending. We need 5 levels. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to this guy, do a quick trade with him. Now we got our levels again. The reason that we're doing it this way is because levels take more experience the more levels that you have. So if you keep refilling your experience points as you go, you're going to end up actually using less experience points to do your enchanting. So now we're going to add that on there. Let's see what level we need to add this to our Trident. 20 levels. So we'll do some trading to get our 20 levels. We got our 20 levels. So let's go here. Let's add this book on. And now we have almost the perfect Trident. I think I'm missing an enchantment here now that I'm thinking about it. We're missing an enchantment called Nope, it's right here. How did I not see you? Let's see if we can add this on really quick, because even though once we've already added everything to our Trident here, we can still add another enchantment onto it. Now, I don't really need this yet. Channeling will make it so whenever you throw your Trident in a thunderstorm, lightning will strike that area, which has some cool benefit because different mobs will undergo different transformations when struck by lightning. Villagers turn into witches, pigs turn into zombie pigmen, creepers turn into charged creepers. But we're not going to go over that for now. But we did add that loyalty enchantment, and take a look. It comes right back to us when we throw it. Now, the further away you throw it, it's going to take longer to come back. But believe you me, it always comes back. This makes the Trident a pretty nice weapon. Now, the next thing we're going to end up enchanting is our tools. Now, in this particular case, we're actually going to enchant multiple of the same type of tool because we have a few enchantments that cannot be added on together that we do want all of. So I'm going to grab some more. Oh, here's a Trident boy. Hello. Do you have another Trident for me? Ah, we got another Trident, yes. But yeah, there's a few enchantments that we can't put together that we do want. So I'm going to go grab some extra tools, and then we're going to go over everything now, including that Unbreaking and Mending enchantment that we did not touch on earlier. And you know what? I just realized something. We have armorers and toolsmiths and weaponsmiths and all here. I could come to this dude right here. He's a toolsmith, and I need to get myself 2 hoes, another shovel. I need another pickaxe, and we got another axe. Bam. We got diamond things that easily. Now, none of these necessarily have great enchantments on them, so I'm going to come over to my grindstone here, and I'm going to take these enchants off, and I am going to get organized here in this box because this is going to be the easiest way I can show you all of your tools. Okay, in this double chest here, we have all of our tools, and we have every enchantment that we can put on those tools, and this is what you're going to want to do with those tools. Now, some of these I already have enchanted, so just ignore that fact for a moment because I'll only add the enchantments on that I need for those. But we have 2 pickaxes. Most of these enchantments are the same. We got Efficiency 5. Efficiency 5 is going to make these pickaxes mine a lot faster. How much faster, you may ask? Well, I can show you really briefly. If I place down, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the same 9 right here, you can take a look at the unenchanted pickaxe, how long this takes to go through all of these. It takes quite a while. As opposed to this one with Efficiency 5, as you can see, I can mine them incredibly fast. I can actually mine it so fast, I can sprint and mine it. So efficiency 5 will go on both of them. Then we have unbreaking 3. Unbreaking 3 makes it so your pickaxe or your tool, generally speaking, uses less durability while we use it, because your tools have a durability on them, right? You see this little bar? That's your durability bar. Now, when you have higher levels of unbreaking on the tool, it is less likely that every time you break a block that the durability gets used up. Therefore, the tool lasts a lot longer. 5 is the highest level for efficiency. 3 is the highest level for unbreaking. Then I'm going to skip the middle row for a second. We go down to the bottom row, and that is mending. You will want to put mending on absolutely everything, because what mending does is as you gain experience points, before it puts it to your levels, it puts it to any gear that has mending on it if it needs to be mended. So the shovel has a little bit of durability missing. If I come over here and I click on this and I do a trade, you'll see my shovel got mended a little bit. Each time I get experience points, that shovel gets mended up until eventually it's all the way full and doesn't need to be mended anymore. At that point, the experience points go to me as opposed to my tools, armor, or whatever. Well, you could put mending on everything. There's one exception to this. I'll show you that in a little bit though. The one I did not go over yet is the reason that we need 2 different tools for every tool type. There's Fortune 3 and there's Silk Touch. Now, Fortune will make it so you get more of a fortune for any ores you break that drop different parts of the ore. So for example, if I break a diamond with a non-fortune pickaxe, I will get 1 diamond. If I break a diamond with a Fortune 3 pickaxe, I can get anywhere from 1 to, I believe, 4 diamonds. It varies per ore that you're trying to get, but generally speaking, Fortune 3 gets you 2 times more ores than non-Fortune does. So this could be good for shovels if you want to get a lot of flint for any particular reason, maybe for trading or for making a lot of flint and steel for a gold farm. And for hoes, it's good because if you hit leaves, you will get more saplings, more apples, more sticks, and things of that nature. Our other one is Silk Touch. Now, Silk Touch is something I've not yet gotten in this world, so we're going to be adding that on. And Silk Touch just simply gives you the exact block that you break. So instead of a leaf breaking and getting destroyed, hitting a leaf with a Silk Touch hoe will actually give you a leaf block. I'm going to give you a further example of this once I make up my tools with the pickaxe. Give me just a few moments. Okay, let's travel down here into what may end up being the future basement and hopefully not get blown up or otherwise destroyed in some way, because I want to find some stone, because now I can show you that if we, of course, use anything that does not have Silk Touch on it, stone breaks down into cobblestone just like that, like you're used to. But if we use Silk Touch, we actually get the stone block. So anything that would normally break into other blocks, whether it be an ender chest, stone, leaves, you're going to get that actual block that you see on the screen as opposed to the block that it breaks down to. This is incredibly nice. This is why you're going to want 2 of every single tool. Now that we've gone over all of the tool enchantments, I'm going to actually finish enchanting them all. And next, let's go over the weapons we have not yet gone over. We'll start with swords here, actually. So for swords, you have an option to take either sharpness or smite. Sharpness does a lot of additional damage to any mob generally. Smite does even more damage, but only to undead mobs. Why do I have a separate sword that I like to use smite with? Because it is great for fighting the wither and even maybe taking for wither skeletons in the nether, although the wither's really the only reason I ever use it. So we're gonna go that route. Then you have looting. It kind of like works like fortune, but for mobs. When you kill mobs, they are going to drop more loot for you than if you did not have looting. So looting 3 is an absolute must. Unbreaking, we already talked about. Then you have knockback. I don't like to put knockback on all the time. This will be your personal preference. It simply knocks the mobs backwards when you hit them. So for normal everyday encounters, it's probably pretty nice, right? If you're trying to fight a creeper, it's good to knock them back out of explosion range, and then they kind of come back in again, reset, and it's easier to kill them. When you're fighting the wither, knockback kind of sucks. So I do not put it on my wither killing sword. And then of course, mending we already talked about. And then there's another one called fire aspect. It simply sets the mob on fire when you hit it. I don't like using that for my normal sword because it can be kind of bad for certain mobs. If you go end raiding and you're killing shulkers, it makes them teleport around all over the place. If you are trying to hit and kill endermen, it makes them teleport all around all over the place. So I don't put it on my normal sword. It's not really needed, but I will put it on my wither killing sword just for that little bit extra damage to help out with those types of fights. And then you can also, I forgot this, use an axe as a weapon too, right? It does have a base damage to it, and the axe can have sharpness or smite as well. So we'll put sharpness on one, smite on the other. I don't know, maybe I'll just put sharpness on both. Maybe I'll change my mind. But it's worth doing for most cases. Like if you're just exploring around your world, just doing stuff at your base, you really don't even need to carry a sword around with you. Just save the inventory slot, just carry an axe. And lastly is the bow. So there's a few like power 5, making it do a lot more damage. Unbreaking, you already know about. Punch works the exact same as knockback for the sword. It'll knock mobs back. I do like to carry punch, although it can be kind of annoying for the wither. So I may end up making another bow without punch as well. Then we got mending. We have flame, which will set mobs on fire, just like fire aspect does. And then you have to make a choice with your bow. You have the choice of mending or infinity. Now for me, it's not much of a choice, but let me explain the difference. So infinity makes it to where you never run out of arrows. One arrow is all you need, and you can infinitely fire that one arrow. It does not work with tipped arrows. So these guys over here that sell me some tipped arrows does not work with those. But normal arrows, you got infinite of them, but your bow will eventually break. Now, you can go and repair the bow by adding a bow with full health to it. It's going to cost you experience points, and eventually that bow will be unrepairable. Infinity is really great if you don't have very good aim. If you're the type to just sit here and pluck your bow and you can't really hit the broadside of a barn and you need to use a ton of arrows all the time, infinity is the way to go 100%. Me, I like to use mending. I have pretty good aim, I think. And the nice thing about arrows is whether you have one arrow or 64 arrows, they take up the same number of slots in your inventory. And I've personally found that with the frequency in which I use a bow and how, I know how to aim and hit targets, I never need more than 64 arrows. And in fact, I usually only have to refill my arrows once every week or so. And refilling arrows can be easy. We're going to go over a lot of farms to give arrows later on in the series, but we can get arrows from these guys anytime we want to. We're going to make skeleton farms and general mob farms and bartering farms. All of these things give arrows as well. You're pretty much going to have an infinite amount of arrows anyways, so you might as well take mending and never have to remake your bow. That's my opinion. And despite whatever you've heard from Waddles, he's wrong. Mending all the way. Bruh. Next, we have armor. And you're going to see I have a couple sets of armor here, right? That's kind of weird, isn't it? Let me explain. So first of all, same thing applies. Unbreaking 3 on everything, mending on everything. It works on armor as well, so we want to make sure we include those things. But we also have protection enchantments. Protection is extremely, immensely important because it makes an enormous difference. I can't overstate this enough. Enormous difference in how much damage you take. So you want to get level 4 protection, which is the highest enchantment on anything that you can. There's regular protection, which kind of generally protects from everything. So we're going to actually put that on 3 of our pieces of gear right here. And then there are other types of protection too. There's fire protection, which protects you from fire damage even more so than regular protection does. You also have projectile protection, which protects from projectiles a lot more than regular protection does. And we're mixing this up because we want to make sure that we don't die. So 3 bits of regular protection will offer us some fire protection, but make us extremely safe from things like creepers and other general mobs that are out there that are going to be trying to kill us. And then we put fire protection on 1 piece of item. I'd like to pick my boots because it makes sense to me. I fall in lava. What's the first thing that lava hits? My boots. So we put some fire protection on our boots to help make sure that if we fall in lava, we actually end up with a pretty decent amount of time. And I'll demonstrate this in a little bit to get out of that lava before any real damage is done. And then as a kicker, I like to make some extra armor as well, some backup gear for different situations. If you go to the nether, you're going to be around lava a lot. You may fall into a deep pit of lava and you need a lot of time to be able to place blocks to climb out or break blocks to climb out. So we're going to have a chest piece with extra fire protection on it. So whenever we are traveling around lava ridden areas, we will have that extra chest piece on our hotbar, so we can switch back and forth between needing extra fire protection or needing protection from mobs attacking us. And then I have one here for projectile protection too. That's actually for when we go to the end, because shulkers, there's a few rooms that have a lot of them, and we'll go over this when we get to that point. You get shot by a lot of shulker projectiles, so having projectile protection armor can actually be extremely helpful for making sure you don't die while you're in the end fighting shulkers. Let me take a little bit of time getting the levels I need to add all of this to my gear. And this set of gear we have on right now, we're gonna put it away somewhere because we're gonna keep it. It was our first set of diamond armor, and I think it would be proper to put it up on display somewhere. And I almost forgot, there's a couple of unique things that you put on your boots and your helmet. You have respiration 3, which helps you breathe underwater, or I guess in this case, hold your breath, and immensely much longer time. It makes it a lot easier to travel in water and not drown. And aqua affinity, because whenever you mine in water, it's a lot slower. So if you have aqua affinity, your mining speed becomes the same as it is on land. Super helpful for doing things underwater. And then you have your boots. You have depth strider 3, which makes it so you actually swim as fast as you like walk on land, so it helps you get around the water a lot easier, especially those like pesky flowing water streams. This will help out a ton. And you have feather falling 4, so no longer do you need to fear falling from relatively high places. Your fall damage you take is reduced by quite a bit. It's still possible to die from fall damage, but it takes a pretty big drop for that to happen when you have feather falling. Here we are. We found the orange juice right here, and I wanted to give a live demonstration of fire protection and protection gear, because you can see now if I jump in here, like you see, look how long it's taking my hearts to go down. And that's just with one piece of fire protection gear on. When I put on the other piece, first of all, if you see, I don't actually catch on fire anymore, so that part is awesome. And when I take a little dip in here, as you can see, it takes a while for my hearts to go down. So you can imagine a situation where you fall into the lava and you need to find a way out. Maybe you need to swim kind of far. You could do that if you have 2 pieces of fire protection gear on. And like you just saw here, I'm clicking a button and swapping. I can click back and forth and swap. So if I fall in lava with my protection gear on, I can quickly switch over to the fire protection gear, and I am not on fire anymore, and I have longer to try to get out. As you can see now, this is ultra important. And also because why not, let's show you guys feather falling. 1.5 hearts, that's all. If you don't have feather falling, you better get it. And next, I have some miscellaneous tools that some of you may not even realize that you can put enchantments on, or maybe you forgot about. We have the oddballs here. First of all, the shield, you can put unbreaking 3 and mending on that, which is, most people know that, it's pretty obvious. Flint and steel, you can actually put unbreaking 3 on. And you know what? I've actually never tried to put mending on it. We're gonna try that here in just a second. And then shears, you can do efficiency 5, unbreaking 3, and mending on your shears. So that way they work faster, which is great for something like wool, for example. And you have unbreaking and mending on them too. So let's add these things on. And to answer your question, yes, you can put mending on flint and steel. We got our shield set up, which I don't know that we'll ever really use it, but we'll bring it with us just in case. Probably when we go like to nether fortresses, we'll bring our shield with us. Is a good idea. And we have our shears here. So you may have seen we didn't go over every single enchantment today. There's some others like Frostwalker and some we don't have access to yet that you can't get via villager, like soul speed and quick sneak and those types of things. We'll go over some of those when we find them or as they become useful. But you guys, you let me know right now, what enchantments do you like to use, or tips do you have that I did not give? I appreciate you all watching. Click the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, watch the whole Bedrock Guide series, and I'll see you next time. We got a big, huge building to build, and I can't wait to do it. Bye!